Good evening, it's the 21st of March 1933 and you're watching News of Germany, the best independent current affairs show for the German Reich. And following the elections earlier this month, the new Reichstag has now officially opened. But it's not quite the Reichstag that we were expecting. For more on that, here's Andrea.
Hi. Now here we see the allocation of Reichstag seats according to the election on the 5th of March. And as you can see, the biggest party is the National Socialist German Workers' Party, the Nazis. Now, a government needs the support of more than 50% of the Reichstag, but the election left the National Socialists without an absolute majority and therefore needing a coalition in order to govern. But they have now used their emergency powers to annul the seats won by the Communist Party, and this is what it's done to the Reichstag. It now has 81 seats fewer, and that gives the National Socialists an absolute majority. It's a very slim one, but it is enough for them to govern.
Thank you, Andrea. Well, for those Reichstag members who were actually allowed to take their seats, it's been a busy day. I'm joined from Berlin by our reporter, Andrew.
What?
Now, the Reichstag building is unusable at the moment. I understand this meant some changes to the opening ceremony.
Yes, well, if you've been watching the news lately, you'd know that it was actually held in Potsdam with the main event at the Garrison Church. Now, I'm told that the church leadership was rather unhappy about this, but apparently the government wanted to make a statement about the separation of church and state.
That statement being?
That there shouldn't be one. Also, the Garrison Church is the last resting place of Kings Frederick William I and Frederick the Great, who, between them, helped to transform Prussia into a powerful military might.
Now, I gather that the Chancellor actually snubbed the Catholic Church.
Yes, so before the event at the Garrison Church, there were separate church services for Catholics and for Protestants. Now, Hitler and the propaganda minister Goebbels are both Catholics and were expected to attend the Catholic service, but instead they went to Berlin to lay wreaths on the graves of members of the SA.
Adolf Hitler and the Catholic Church, that's quite a difficult relationship, isn't it?
The Catholic Church has described Nazi Catholics as renegade Catholics, and Hitler explained his absence from the service as being a warning. Now, the Centre Party is the political wing of the Catholic Church, so this actually looks like a political move.
Now, the whole event was quite big, wasn't it?
It was huge, with distinguished guests, long speeches and parades and everything, all broadcast live on radio. Goebbels has turned this into a huge media event and is calling it Potsdam Day.
What did you make of Hitler's speech?
It was weird, but what was interesting about it was that he pledged not to violate the rights of the Reichstag, the Reichsrat, or the president, despite the fact that he's made it very clear in the past that he is opposed to democracy.
Do you believe him?
I can't say.
Well, just your gut feeling.
No, you don't understand. I really can't say.
Oh. So after all the pomp and ceremony, the Reichstag held its constitutive session, right?
Yes. Well, that was also weird. Now, with the Reichstag building unusable at the moment, the nearby Opera House, which you can see behind me, has been hastily converted. Now, one of the things that everybody noticed straight away was that a huge swastika, which is the emblem of the National Socialist Party, has been placed behind the lectern.
Goodness, that is weird.
We also saw Hitler appear in the uniform of the SA, and in his speech, the speaker Hermann Göring declared that the terrible days of the Republic were now over. His exact words were, "Weimar is now vanquished."
Wow. Thank you very much, Andrew, but I'm afraid that's all we have time for. To you at home, thank you for watching, and good night.
Party is the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Get it right. National Socialist Workers, the National Socialist Workers' Party, the Nationals. Oh dear. The National